Hey guys, welcome back. It's June 11th. Hope you're having a good week. Happy hump day. Got some CP line numbers this morning. I didn't even look at them. Sort of bullish, maybe. I don't know. Had a little bit of a gap up this morning. Excuse me. Finally, though, some volume came in with CP line. The market loosened up a little bit. We got our 30-minute move after all this grinding. Here's Eric. It's SPY day trading. Here's his 30-minute chart. Link for his Discord's in the description as well as mine. Welcome to join either one. But yeah, so we've been grinding up in this just mellow yellow channel here, gapped up and kind of just pushed up against the resistance quite a bit, and then as the day progressed, I kind of got in late, like 10:30, but broke this steeper green channel to start, and then this less aggressive orange one, and then we still have this big yellow one that we've been in. But basically this was a big level here, the 602.57, and all this liquidity down here for a shoulder, so we ended up grabbing it, not without some drama, coming in, bouncing back up, making an inverse cup here and a handle in the 30-minute. I'll show you guys in the 1 minute now what happened. Like I said, I was in a little late, 10:30. Missed one trade this morning. Nice little inverse head and shoulders. Nice shoulder, nice head. Grab it and went. So that would have been a nice one. But nonetheless, I was there right around here or here. Yeah, I started charting some of these channels. Yeah, that was basically. I was looking for. So once we broke that steeper green, I was looking a lot on the 30-minute today because this was the day to kind of use it. And then we broke the orange. This was, let's see, 11 o'clock. On the 30-minute, this was breaking out of the green. This big candle right in here in the 11 o'clock range. So the setup to get into this wasn't really great, so I don't feel bad about missing that. Let me just show you the trades I did today on the small account challenge. I didn't mention we're doing a small account challenge. Green today, finally a little green day. Could have traded it better, of course. Here to improve. All right, so we had two puts at 11:42. Here's the account today. Puts at 11:42. So it came up, it was just kind of grinding, building liquidity here, and this was right at the resistance, but you don't know, right at the resistance on the 30-minute, but you don't know if it's going to just squeeze through and keep going. It doesn't necessarily have to retrace for a nice head or anything like that. So I'm not just trying to take puts up there. And so then this ended up looking like a nice head, this big volume inverse head. However, it did kind of complete this inverse cup, so can always go either way, and there we have our wedge with purple right here, and then this gold one right here, which was a little bit lower, but then I adjusted it for that low, so we had it like right there, as you can see, with that low. And yeah, so it came down, try not to get FOMO on any of this stuff. Big bounce, considered taking a long here. Just after it broke that steepest green channel, but given that this was kind of my first take profit, I don't think I did on the big account either. Yeah, I did a couple good trades in the big account. So it came up, and then basically I'm just looking to see if it's going to break purple, and then I don't think I had this red one at that point. Maybe I did, because it's from right here. So I'm really looking to see if it'll break this and potentially taking calls on the break or on a retest for this inverse head and shoulder, and then that would be a break probably in the longer time frame on the 30-minute into a squeeze, which would have been aggressive, or rejecting up here and we start rejecting on the longer time frame, which is what we ended up doing, signified by this purple, which it respected nicely. So that's kind of my thought process in this area. Yeah, so there we go. I waited for this gold right here. Yep, so broke the gold, which was basically my least aggressive bearish control I had. And yeah, so I got puts on this candle right here. So could have gotten them sooner, but not necessarily. I mean, potentially could have, I don't know if I had purple charted at this point, but I could have gotten them on a retrace just on that resistance here. I don't know where I put those in, but since it's one trade for me a day on the small account, I'm not really necessarily looking for the mutual interest trades or the retracement trades, because even though it's still down here, it's hitting that, it still could have bounced and it could have been calls, it could have ripped. So until it breaks out of the wedge, you're basically risk to reward. You still have good risk to reward if you're opening it at your stop, but your potential for the breakout, you might have the direction wrong, basically. So you don't know the direction until you've broken either triggered stops or broken the channel. So, which oftentimes is just stop triggers too. Oh, there's an alert. So yeah, anyways, that's why I got into puts here, thinking, all right, we've got this inverse cup, the handle, and here it's breaking that final channel. So I'm looking for profits at low of day, really. I mean, yeah, that's kind of my goal. Also, yeah, so purple for a stop up here, and fortunately it did end up grinding back up there. So 1157, I sold one for a small loss, actually. So it came back up, and then it started coming down on this green, which I was excited about. I didn't take any profits on this one, again, because it's my one trade, and I'm like, I'm just gonna hold these. And then knowing down here that this is a stop, I'm like, oh boy. And of course, it came all the way up there. Thank goodness I didn't close on that candle, because I think even on Eric's and Emperor's, their channels that actually broke on that. They've maybe since adjusted it. But yeah, on mine, I was actually a little bit more accurate. Or at least with that one. Yeah, you can see here. Here's Emperor's. So on Emperor's, it broke his blue right here. So this is where mine was. I had this more gradual channel. They had the steeper one with that blue. So I don't know, whichever one. But this one it respected, so I held in it, and then we got that nice red candle. I'm like, phew. But after all that, you can imagine I'm a little like, this is sketch. Even though it respected it. So yeah, close that first one on this candle right here when it retested this white. Could have had more patience, I guess. It's just, yeah, I guess since I didn't take any profits this one, I only had 2 contracts. I didn't want one here. I wanted that low a day, or at least, yeah, I did. I wanted the low a day, and then potentially 5 day. Of course, it's going to take many hours to get there. So could have held it all the way through, but holding through this is just dumb. Not unless I'm trading futures or something. So with 0 day at least, long on them. So took one at what, 47. It took a small loss from 42 to 39. Where's that? 57. Yeah, so on this candle, and then held the next one. Once it got down to 1, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to hold it, basically for my spot. So that one came all the way down, had some velocity, had some volume. So these went pretty crazy. And then had a green candle, and I closed on the next candle. So I was kind of looking for the first green candle. I was hoping for low a day, but I really didn't want to hold this in case I wanted to come all the way back up and hit this resistance again. So didn't end up doing that. It did end up just kind of grinding and then going down further. I didn't have a good channel for this. This is a resistance, so this was kind of a wide open area for me, which I didn't really care to hold through in case it did this. But yeah, could have held for all the way down here. But yeah, so it's green. Not upset about it at all. And then on the big account, I did a couple good trades. Probably and a couple bad, of course. I did a couple stops. So yeah, remember one of my stops was right here. I opened up puts right here for the top of this. Let's see, was it here? Yeah, or no, maybe it was here. Here? Yeah, I think I had the red. So I opened them up here. Yeah, stopped out of those, and then I actually opened up calls. Took a little on calls, and then like broke even stop on the call. So that was the green trade. And then, I don't know, let me see where I got that. I didn't get those puts at a great spot. I don't know why I was kind of hesitant there. Oh, because it was at the bottom of this orange on the 30-minute. But yeah, made nice little head and shoulders. Kind of went a little bit outside of the magenta or whatever this color is. So wasn't respecting it perfectly, which would have been nice if this was the head and shoulder right there, but made a little bigger one, little stop out, stop hunt, whatever. But nice little head and shoulders at the top of the range, rejecting the liquidity up here, right here. And at that point we were, let's see, what time is that? That's 13:30. So yeah, that's where that big candle came in. That's where this big red candle came in right here. So it made the inverse cup, was making the handle, retesting this magenta also. And then we had our move down. Finally, a nice 30-minute move, nice price action. I didn't get in until, I got in right here actually. Yep, on the long term. Or not the long term, but the big account. Yeah, on this candle. And then did this big move. I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Or no, it wasn't. Yeah, I was on this candle actually. Because I had a steeper trend line there. That's right. Yeah, it was on that candle, but not at the top. It was like midway through that candle, and then held those. It has kind of distracted at that point. I was doing other stuff, and the volume has still been light, and I was just like, eh. So I wish I paid attention better though, because I could have had some nice exits on here. I took one like somewhere in here, took another one in here, I think, and then my last one I think was like right there, just past low a day. So, or no, it was a little bit further. Yeah. Yeah, so I missed out on this move down here. Almost got back in once it broke this gold, but it's like so far down there. And the structure wasn't great. It was just the last little move, which I kind of figured. So caught a good amount of this though. One of the contracts was 100%. If I had entered at a little better spot, not on that big red candle with volume, and held at least a little further, maybe till the first green after it started getting velocity. Like I closed pretty early on the volume and velocity. Whereas if I waited for a green candle, then it would have probably been a couple 100%, at least 200 or 300. But I had one that was 100%, so that was nice. Thankfully, didn't trade through this stuff. I mean, I guess you could have maybe done some puts right in here. The bounce trade wasn't great. This is just pretty ugly liquidity build to the end of day. I actually did take a 10-minute Fugazi trade though, which was just kind of a lotto, which was sketchy because it wasn't great structure, but I have a little shoulder here and an inverse head. And once I see that in the 10-minute, I got calls. I got calls here. It was pretty ugly though for the end, but they were green. I was just limit ordering them on the way up, just selling them through. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for today. I'm happy for green day. Gotta be patient on the days. They're just, I don't see the trades as much. And if I do see them, I just have to be quick on profits. Without a big 30-minute move, the market really, if it's in a wedge, a large wedge, it's just sketchy to try and, you just don't want to be holding through all this stuff. Wait for the big 30-minute moves and you'll be much more successful, and I need to do that. So yep, had it. CPLI volume came in, markets loosened up. Hopefully we continue to get some moves for the rest of the week. I think we should. We've kind of made this head and shoulders now. See if we come up and retest magenta here and reject this liquidity, make a head, and then grab this shoulder that we built at the end of the day. Or potentially we've bounced off 5-day more or less. Essentially this is our inverse head, and then we've got a shoulder up here from this morning and breaking the magenta for an inverse head and shoulder to keep going up. That's kind of the stuff I'm seeing on there, but you can get a better analysis on the macro on Eric's channel at SPY Day Trading. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. Have a good afternoon. Peace out.